Hi everyone, today we're going to be highlighting two of our new amazing CCS staff. They're here to assist our providers, whether it be through training, business analysis support, and that is Tonia, Crawford, and Brandee, Overshown, and they are our business industry specialists. Glad y'all are here. Would you tell us about y'all's background?
So I came from the public school system. I was a behavior interventionist for elementary, and then I was a sixth grade teacher. I taught sixth grade English and science, and I transitioned into early childhood in 2016. I was an infant teacher, a toddler teacher, and then I became an assistant director.
So I've been in early childhood education for 20 years now. Started in June of 2005 as a pre-K teacher. I spent a good portion of that time in a classroom with pre-K, about 12 years in a classroom. I loved it. Then I transitioned to in a position as a director at a center here in Tyler, and I stayed there for a little bit over 6 years before transitioning to a position at Champions for Children, where I've worked the past 2 years, and I have recently started in this position here at Child Care Services in July.
Tonia, can you briefly describe your role and how it supports daycare centers in our East Texas region?
So as a CCS business industry specialist, I like to call it just a support system. And so we basically go out and we support directors with their business sustainability. And so we help with staff retention, we do trainings, we go out and do business analysis. And so it's basically just being that support for providers where they know that someone is there that cares, that understands the industry that they work in and help with their business stability.
Brandee, what are the most common challenges you see in child care centers, and what do you do to support them in those challenges?
Right now, across the board, I would say the most common challenge is staff retention and recruitment. And honestly, overall, the wages are just low paying. So that's the biggest struggle. And there's not much that can be done, but we do try to educate our administrators on, just different ways that they could, like the interviewing process, how to do a proper interview, questions to ask to make sure you're vetting your candidates thoroughly. So with the candidates that you are getting, that you are hiring the most high quality staff that's available to you. We also help them with job announcements and job postings, like TJC has a job board, CCS does some job announcements and job fairs through Texas Workforce Solution, and giving them avenues and resources to obtaining high quality staff.
And then could either one of you or both of you share a success story from something that's benefited a center from your business analysis, or just a success story in general for one of these centers they've worked with?
I will start with one of my success stories. There was a director that actually, when I went in to do her interview, she was almost in tears and sharing with me that she was on the verge of possibly having to shut her center down, and she wasn't on the food program. And so when we started talking about the food program, she said, I didn't know I could get on the food program because of where she was located. And so when I did some research and found out that she could be on the food program, she got on the food program. I gave her all the information, set her up with what she needed, and she started on the food program, and that saved her money that she was spending on food to keep her center open.
I think mine is kind of similar to Tonia's. There was a director I worked with. She was not on the food program. She was also the cook and director because she couldn't afford to pay a cook. And once I did her business analysis, not only was she a 4-star center, her tuition rates were extremely low, so she was not getting the max reimbursement that she could have been getting from Child Care Services with a high percentage of enrollment from Child Care Services. So I'm like, if you adjust your posted rates, if you apply for the food program, that could at least pay for a cook and alleviate your responsibilities. And that's exactly what she did. And within a year, she was on the food program, rocking and rolling, had a cook. And she was like, and I was even able to give a few teachers raises. She said, because I didn't realize how much money I would save by being on the food program. And she also heard a lot of rumors from people like, oh, it's hard and they want so much. And I was like, it's not that hard, and everybody's experience is different. At least try it, because if you don't like it, you can always discontinue and you're right back where you started. So just to give her that support and to actually see the results come to be in her center was like awesome.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us today for this interview. And I can't wait for y'all to be on staff with us and see all the business analysis that are going to be coming out with our providers that you work with.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Storm.